The Raiders could possibly have a new RB1 in Sincere McCormick. Brock Bowers continues his dominance, breaking records, leading all tight ends and Pro Bowl votes, and could possibly become the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Also, Davante Adams throws shade at the Raiders in his latest presser, and Shedeur Sanders to the Las Vegas Raiders in this latest mock draft. What is up, Raider Nation? It's your boy Samora back at it again with another episode of Nation News. If this is the very first time you're coming across this channel and you love the Las Vegas Raiders, then hit that subscribe button and hit that notification icon button just to notify you guys when I upload more videos just like this one. With that being said, let's get started with Sincere McCormick. Now, just 2 weeks after being elevated from the practice squad with Zamir White and Alexander Madison out with injuries, Sincere McCormick has been making the most of his opportunity, so much so that the team has promoted him to the 53-man roster. Many reports have been going around that head coach AP was impressed by how Sincere has looked with the limited reps and noted that he will be getting more reps as the season closes. On top of that, AP also addressed this and talked highly of Sincere McCormick in today's press conference, saying this.
What you're seeing on game days, on Sundays and Fridays from last week is what we saw every day in practice. A guy that ran hard, runs tough, good vision, decisive, hits the hole. First guy's not tackling him right now, and that's been a big key for us in the run game, not getting tackled by that first defender. So he's making the most of his opportunity. He'll keep getting opportunities. I said that last week. I think it was 12 carries he got, and hopefully we can just bump that up a little bit more this week.
And that just shows that Sincere is just doing the right thing out there when he's getting his opportunities. Now, you look at the last two games that he was activated. Against the Broncos first, he had 5 carries for 33 yards and averaged 6.6 yards per carry. Also, against the Kansas City Chiefs on Black Friday, my boy had 12 carries for 64 yards, averaging 5.4 yards per carry. Now, I know that might not sound like a lot, but when you actually watch the games and knowing how bad our run game has been all season long, you know, outside of Alexander Madison looking pretty solid here and there, Sincere McCormick looks dominant out there. The way he's just been running, the way he's been able to get a lot of yards and just break tackles. And that's one thing that AP stated was the fact that Sincere McCormick is just able to break the first tackler. And that's huge for us, especially giving us some type of momentum. And every time he carried the ball, like I said, even in the Broncos game, he only carried the ball 5 times, but he looked great in those carries. And then with more volume against the Chiefs, he looked even better, looked better than all the running backs that we had. I'm just hoping that we could possibly see Sincere in the end zone at least one time for the rest of the season, which I'm pretty sure will happen. Now, I know that this whole thing is just coming all in at once for Sincere, and you know what? It's great. I'm really happy to see Sincere McCormick go out there and at least get more opportunities. You know, compared to the beginning of the season, we didn't know where he was going to fall in the depth chart, but right now, with all the players being banged up and with our running game not really existing for the most part, it's good to see that the Raiders are at least looking at him and seeing that, hey, this guy could be something. I don't know if he's going to be the running back for us moving forward, but I feel like he should be the RB1 for the rest of this season. The season is already over. We talked about this multiple times. If we're not going to go out there and, you know, at least win for playoff position, it's good to evaluate a lot of these players that don't really get that play time, especially guys like Sincere McCormick, who can make the most of his opportunity right now, whether or not he should be a guy that we keep on the roster next season, which honestly, for me, I would say yes. Now, to add on to that, though, if you guys don't know, I actually got to sit down with Sincere McCormick over the offseason. I had a one-on-one interview with him on the Ninth Island podcast. That's my podcast channel. If you guys haven't checked that out, go and check it out, man. We got a lot of great interviews on there, which is kind of crazy because most of the players that we've had on the podcast actually is having their best season yet, and at least is getting a lot more love. We had Isaiah Polomau out there. We had DJ Turner out there, and now, you know, Sincere McCormick was on there, and now he's getting his chance to shine. Now, one thing that we talked about on that podcast that really stands out to me, and I kind of posted it on Instagram, was, you know, I asked him what his ultimate goal was for this season, and this is what he had to say.
What's your ultimate goal, man?
My ultimate goal, of course, is to make the 53-man roster this year. And I honestly get dubs, win. I mean, simple as that. Make the 53 and win. And you got to set your goals high so you can see where you at, you know, in life. So whatever God has for me, I'm gonna keep rolling with the punches, keep rolling with the dice. So, yeah, that's my ultimate goal.
Now, of course, looking at that clip, it really just shows how far and how much this guy has worked because, yes, he came into the league as an undrafted free agent. He dominated at the college level, which is kind of crazy that he didn't at least get drafted somewhere in the 7 rounds. But the fact that he came over here, he chose the Raiders because he felt like this would be a good opportunity for us, for him in his career. Came in with some expectations, got hurt, tried to come back again, and just was just stuck in the middle somewhere. But I do feel like right now is a prime time for Sincere to make the most of his name, whether he stays on this team or if there's another team that's out there looking for a running back that could come in and compete, then let him go out there and do his thing, man. I'm rooting for him 100%. And like I said, I love his story and I love where he's come from. And I'm just really, really happy that he's getting this opportunity to shine. Like I said, in just 2 games, you can definitely tell he's a guy that can go out there and put it all on the line. And I feel like for the rest of the season, if Alexander Madison or Zamir White isn't ready to go, we might as well go out there with Amir Abdullah and Sincere McCormick. Just make Sincere your RB1 and just see what the kid has in him, man. Moving forward, I feel like the offense is slowly coming together, especially with Scott Turner and Norv Turner kind of taking over the helm with Brock Bowers. ALC had a great game this last game. I know we're kind of shaking up at the wide receiver position, but Jacoby Myers is still out there. And then in the running back room, of course, we got Sincere McCormick leading that charge. I hope that he balls out the rest of the season, and I wish nothing but the best for Sincere moving forward. Now, in a corresponding move, the reason why he was called up, some bad news, DJ Turner, I talked about it before, had to be placed on IR and his season is most likely done, which really, really sucks. Another player that got a lot more PT this year, especially with Davante Adams leaving the building, but I'm really happy to see that he got his opportunity out there and he showed flashes out there. I feel like these last couple of games, of course, just like Sincere McCormick, DJ Turner was slowly, trying to build a role over here. Him and Trey Tucker being those burners, especially in special teams. Special teams was where DJ Turner shined the most last year and this year. So, to see him out for the rest of the season really, really sucks. Again, nothing but prayers go out to him and his family. I hope that he could come back stronger than ever and come back next season and just be a part of this roster as well. Now, another player that I want to talk about on the offensive side of the ball that is actually getting a lot of love from all over the place is our first round pick tight end, Brock Bowers, who is having a record-breaking season so far with 84 receptions, 884 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And on top of that, Brock Bowers is on pace to having over 100 receptions for over 1,000 yards. And he's 3 receptions away from breaking the rookie tight end record that Sam Laporta had just last season. The crazy thing is, right now, Brock Bowers is leading the league in receptions and is 4th in receiving yards. And that's with, a shaky quarterback room. Now, I know a lot of people are wondering what could happen if, Brock Bowers actually had a quarterback that was solid, that could throw to him and be great. Honestly, I don't think anything different would happen. I think he'd probably show the same numbers or just a little bit less, because you got to think about it. A tight end is always going to be the quarterback's security blanket, especially a bad quarterback. So that's why I feel like he's getting a lot of the love. Not taking anything away from him, but I think any other quarterback that would come over here and do a great job, I think that they would spread the love everywhere else. But we got to see Aiden O'Connell come in and play nearly a flawless game. Now, again, that was just one game from Aiden O'Connell. If he could continue this, then I feel like Brock Bowers is just going to continue to dominate. Whoever you put out there, Brock Bowers, I think he's just going to make him look good. Look at Georgia right now. Carson Beck looked like an easy first-round pick last year. Now, going into this season, going into the NFL draft, we don't even know if Carson Beck's going to sniff the first round. And most of that in due part is because he doesn't have his number one weapon in Brock Bowers. So who knows? If we bring in Shador, if we bring in any of these other quarterbacks, I think it's just going to be another great added weapon for this team. Now, another crazy stat is the fact that Brock Bowers right now is leading all tight ends in Pro Bowl votes. It's good to see that he's getting his recognition right now. I feel like the Raiders have always been great at bringing in punting talent, kicking talent, and tight end talent. Outside of that, it's kind of been a wash, wide receivers have come and gone, but we've always struggled with that quarterback position other than when we had Derek Carr. But you know what? That's another subject for another day. Getting back to it, I feel like he's going to end up going to the Pro Bowl just for the season that he's been having, which is great. But another thing that a lot of people have been talking about is the Offensive Rookie of the Year race. Now, Brock Bowers is on top of that list as well, but he's going up against 2 quarterbacks in Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix, who, I got to give Bo Nix his flowers. Man, he's showing up pretty big this season for a Broncos team that has turned the season around. But honestly, Raider Nation, if I'm being real, I think Brock Bowers should be the Offensive Rookie of the Year. But this has always been a quarterback-driven award. We've seen it years ago when we had Josh Jacobs as a rookie kill it. He killed it. Had a great season his rookie season. Should have been the Offensive Rookie of the Year. They gave it to Kyler Murray, which is bullshit. Because he was a quarterback and they had a bit of a better record than us. But, we struggled that year under John Gruden. And I feel like fast forward to right now, as great, as electrifying, as many records as, Brock Bowers is going out there and breaking, this will eventually come down to a quarterback. Jaden Daniels has been looking solid this season, kind of been okay these last couple of games, but Bo Nix, with how the Broncos have been looking and him being a quarterback and just the fact that they're winning right now, I feel like he could be a favorite to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now, speaking of the NFL draft, I do want to talk about the latest mock draft from PFF. They did a 3-round mock draft, which I wanted to kind of go over and get, my reactions to it, and also get your guys' reaction to it as well. They did 3 rounds for the Raiders. We sit at number 2, right behind the Jacksonville Jaguars. So yeah, I just thought that this would kind of be a little bit fun to kind of go over with you guys and see how it pans out, because we're already in draft season right now. And I'm also kind of thinking about doing a mock draft pretty soon and doing it on a weekly or bi-weekly basis leading up into the draft, because we have nothing else to cheer for other than seeing where we're going to draft in the NFL draft. But with that said, though, they had Jacksonville Jaguars selecting Travis Hunter and the Raiders picking Shedeur Sanders out of Colorado. Now, this is what their explanation was for the Raiders going out and picking Shedeur Sanders. Though quarterback AOC managed to get the Raiders in range for an upset in Kansas City this week, all indications point towards the team selecting a quarterback in the 2025 NFL Draft. Sanders stands out as the most pro-ready quarterback in the class, earning high passing grades in each of his last 2 seasons and excelling under pressure with one of the highest passing grades in those situations. Though he does tend to take a lot of sacks, while his arm strength might not be elite, Sanders is a polished passer the Raiders can put their faith in. And I can agree with that. I do feel like the Raiders, if in that position, will grab Sanders over Ward any day. I just think that the Raiders are the best option for Shedeur Sanders, and Shedeur Sanders is the best option for the Raiders right now. And just because we do draft a quarterback right out of the gate like that, I don't think that Sanders should start next season. If AOC continues to play the way that he did last week, then I feel more confident in having AOC go out there and being that bridge quarterback for us. And I know a lot of people thought that I was talking about, going out there and just sticking with AOC and not drafting a quarterback, because I feel like that would be stupid on the Raiders' part, because I don't see the Raiders being in this position anymore going on. I feel like we're going to either be a mid team or a contending team moving forward. So this is the right opportunity for the Raiders to go and get their quarterback of the future, whether we're number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. We're in a prime position to draft a quarterback, and why not now? I just don't think that we should just throw him into the Wolves and hope for him to go out there and turn this whole organization around. You see Aiden O'Connell look the way he did. He looks more poised this season than he did last year, because I think last year he was just all over the place. But I think he's been able to kind of take everything in. He even talked about it in his presser today. He's been able to take everything in and kind of learn and just take his time with it and just go out there and do his thing. I don't think that Aiden O'Connell is the future, but I feel like he is the quarterback that could at least kind of put this team in the right position to hand off to Shedeur Sanders. But who knows? If he does shit the bed midway through the season next year, then heck, that's when you throw in Shedeur Sanders and see what he has for the rest of that season. But I do got to agree with this pick right here. Now, in round 2, with the 34th overall pick, they had the Raiders selecting running back Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina. Now, I do like this move because, of course, running back is another position that a lot of people want. It's either running back or wide receiver, or it's going out and solidifying the offensive line. But Omarion Hampton, this dude is a dog, bro. He's a physical running back that plays through contact, explosive runner with speed to break away for a huge touchdown. He has great vision and is patient in the backfield. So I love this pick right here. The only thing about him is that he's not really an elusive back, but he's one of those big backs that'll just take off and just truck somebody, and he kind of reminds me of Josh Jacobs, but Josh was more shifty than him. Just think about a less shifty Josh Jacobs. That's what Omarion Hampton is. So again, another solid pick for the Raiders. And in round 3 with the 66th overall pick, they have a selecting safety and cornerback Sebastian Castro out of Iowa. A great versatile player in the secondary, can play zone, can play man. He plays all over the secondary. So I love that pick right there. He's a ball hawk and a heat-seeking man, so he can do it all for us on the defensive side of the ball. So, hey, I like these 3 picks right here. Getting Shedeur Sanders with the 2nd overall pick, getting Omarion Hampton in the 2nd round, and then going out and getting Sebastian Castro, I think are 3 solid picks. I know we're supposed to have like 2 third-round picks, but in this mock draft, they only have the Raiders having 3 picks overall. So it is what it is. If you guys had to pick the first 3 picks for the Raiders, who would it be? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, one thing that I did want to kind of talk about was Davante Adams, just a little bit. Now, I know a lot of people might be already tired of talking about Davante Adams, but it seemed like in his latest presser, he brought up the Raiders and saying that, he doesn't regret any of the decisions that he made going to the New York Jets.
Extremely disappointed in the win-loss column, but as far as making the move, I don't regret it, not even one bit. Nobody really in period knows what I was going through and knows the reasons why it led to having to be this way, but I don't regret it at all. Got to come here and become a part of a new team, and got welcomed with open arms. Got to play with one of my favorite quarterbacks, one of my best friends, and it's been a bumpy road. It's been a weird year all year, especially for me. Felt like 2 different seasons for me, but I don't regret it at all. You win some, you lose some, but as long as you doing everything you got to do, and this team is not one of the teams that come in here and bullshit all week and then go out there and expect to do well. We practice hard, we have fun out there, and a lot of things. I've seen a lot of progression and improvement since I've been here with this team. So as long as people are doing things the right way, you got to be able to live with the outcome sometimes, and it sucks, and it's hard to sleep at night knowing that we got a locker room like we do, and obviously having 3 wins at this point in the year is not ideal at all, but like I said, I don't regret it at all.
Well, damn, the way he's been talking, it just seems like he just never wanted to be a Raider, man. It just kind of boggles my mind right now that he grew up a Raider fan, wanted to come over here, play for the Raiders. He's been one of those guys that said, this is his childhood team, and he just loves his time over here, yada, yada, yada. And he just so quick to just throw shade at us, especially hearing him say, that the Jets aren't one of those teams that just bullshits all week and then expects to do well when we go out and play, yada, yada. You can tell that there's a lot of things that he's saying under that message without saying too much. Also saying that not a lot of people know what he was going through with the Raiders organization. It's just kind of weird to me, though, because a lot of the moves that we made, he was one of the guys that at least gave an okay on it. This organization respected his decision, respected his say on a lot of things. I know that we didn't really go and find the right quarterback, and I feel like the Raiders still kind of fucked up in that situation. But my bad, though. Davante, you were one of the guys that backed up Josh McDaniels, loved the hiring. You thought that he would be good over here.
Yeah, I'm blessed to be able to work with a guy like that. Josh knows I don't have to try to prove anything to him. He already knows. It just makes me feel good to know that he's going to be open and receptive to it.
Luke Getsy, one of the main reasons why he came over here and became our offensive coordinator was the fact that Davante Adams had rapport with him back in Green Bay.
Luke Getsy. How excited were you that AP tabbed him to be your offensive coordinator?
I was really excited. That was a good feeling knowing a guy that I've worked with. I know how he works. I know how his mind works, and we've had success together. So it's definitely exciting.
Now, I can understand the fact that, feeling some type of way with AP liking a post about you possibly being on a trade block. Now, I think that was some whole ass move. But outside of all of that, the fact that he could go out there and say that he's happy about being a Jet, he's happy with the situation that they're going through, even though their situation is much worse than what we're going through right now. Plus, Aaron Rodgers might not even be over there next season. It's just crazy to me, though. But that's just me. Yes, everything didn't go as planned, but hey, it is what it is. Max Crosby's over here. He's dealt with a lot more shit than you have in the silver and black, and he's still here, one of our best players, and he's going out there every single week giving it 100%. We haven't given him any great things to cheer for or be a part of over here other than what we did the end of the season last year and even going to the playoffs in 2021. But he's still over here putting in his work and just dealing with it. He's not going out there and wanting to be traded or whatnot. But you come over here and last only 2 seasons with us and you can't even deal with that.
Come on, man.
But with that said, though, Raider Nation, I just seen this clip on social media and thought, you know what, let's talk about it real quick, give you guys my thoughts on it. And I also want to get your guys' thoughts on this situation as well. Do you think that Davante is in the right? Do you think he's in the wrong? This dude's just out there talking out of his ass. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Until the next video, this is your boy Simone Raider, and your boy is Yow.